Guys, welcome today. My name is Brooks Conkle. I'm with Gulf Coast BizCon. So Gulf Coast BizCon's mission is to engage and educate entrepreneurs, small businesses, side hustlers. We believe that when these people connect, good things happen. And so we want to involve and have conversations with people that we think will add value to this mission of ours. And today we're really excited to have the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of South Alabama. This is Tim Wills, and we're going to bring Tim on with us and have a conversation. Tim, how are you doing, sir?
Doing good. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Great. Good to see you. I know. So in the middle of us recording this, we are in the midst of COVID-19 quarantine. Businesses are kind of, adjusting, innovating, changing. And I find it a really fascinating time to have these conversations with businesses and CEOs and different people in different organizations. So I appreciate you, jumping on and having a conversation with me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And so, great. So the CEO, so if people aren't familiar, I guess go ahead and give the overview of the Boys and Girls Club, just for people that maybe aren't familiar with that organization, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So Boys and Girls Clubs has been in Mobile for over 60 years. And we have really a niche market. We serve young people who need us most in places where they are, such as schools or our facilities throughout town. We operate in 12 locations throughout town, 7 of which are schools, and providing a safe and positive place for kids to come every single day. At more than half of our sites, there's no cost to attend at all. In our other sites, it's only $30 an entire school year to be a member of a Boys and Girls Club. So that's pretty remarkable that there's $30 opens the door to opportunities for kids to explore a whole host of things where they are not charged to go to the computer lab. They don't pay another fee to go to gym. It's all inclusive because we fundamentally believe in a couple of very basic principles. One, that we should be building centered, meaning it's a stable location for kids to come every day that is accessible to every kid. So look, Boys and Girls Clubs is not just for the poorest of kids in our community. It's for every single kid in our community. That's why it's only $30 a school year, so that everybody has an equal opportunity to be there. And then the other premise is that it's a place of opportunity. So if you don't know that you can play basketball, the club is a place for you to learn and try. And if you don't like it, it's okay. Go try something else. That if you want to be an artist or a musician, or if you want to be the next Surgeon General of the United States, the club is a place for you to explore those things, to figure out your own passions, and then to go out into the world and to do great things. So that's Boys and Girls Clubs in a nutshell.
I love that. So every time I learn a little something extra about Boys and Girls Club. So that last piece that you just threw at me really excites me. Just as a person, is kind of who I am as a person. Because I jokingly tell young people that are going to college, because I feel like they have this pressure that they have to know the answer of exactly what they're going to do for the rest of their lives, like going into college. And I jokingly tell them, I'm like, guys, I'm 36 years old. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. And I tell them that to relax them, to say, hey, it's okay if you don't have all the answers. Like, ultimately, no one has all the answers. And I've also figured out, Tim, that like myself, I thrive on learning new things, trying new things. It never stops. Like, I finally realized that it's never going to stop for me. I'm going to be 70 years old trying to figure out what's the next thing I can learn. So I love that you're involving kids in trying those different things to learn what they are passionate about. I think it's awesome.
I think it's incredibly important for kids and just humans in general to know that it's okay to fail, right? Like, failure is not a bad thing. Some of the biggest entities in our country begun out of failure, right? And so I think what's important for us in teaching kids is that it's okay to keep trying new things, to find out who you are. What's not okay is never failing, to only staying on one course. We want you to try things. We want you to go out there and see what you're capable of doing and stretch the limit as much as possible.
What I find really interesting about failure, and I agree with you 100%. What I find is that, what do you have over there? Is that airplane or something?
Yeah, it's
This is quarantine, guys. This is what you get. Right. You get airplanes. So what I find really interesting about failure is that you can find plenty of information on the fact that failure is a part of the path to success, or it's a part of life. It's very consistent. Like, it's fine. And I think teaching that is a great thing. I still find that, like, it doesn't make it any easier. Like, failing still isn't fun. Like, it's
Right.
I think trying to talk yourself into it's okay to go through that feeling, and it may not be fun, but like what you come through on the other side is, that growth that you go through, or learning a way not to do something so that you can pivot, and it just expanding you as a person, as a human. It's not fun, but I'm with you. It's important, and you have to do it. Like, there's no way around it, right?
There is no
you
way
can't
around
just.
it.
There's no way around failing.
it. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And you think about our country today. So when we think about education, it's built on the Industrial Revolution, right? So like
Right.
everyone's standing at these machines and the same thing's coming down the conveyor belt, right? Like, there's no innovation or creativity in that, right? That's not who we are today as a people in the world. That, entrepreneurship and businesses and just life in general is about being innovative. When we think about COVID-19, it's about today being innovative in our lives to accomplish some of the same things we would have normally accomplished. And it's about trying things and failing at them. And that's okay, because we're learning in that way. Right now through this crisis, we're learning every day on what to do and what not to do. Right now, some may say that's a horrible way to do failure, but when you're in something of the unknown, failure is the base of that. And so, I really think providing kids a place to go every day where they don't feel like they have to be college and career ready. We want you to go off to college. We want you to be career ready. We want you to go into the military, but I want you to do it through your own finding of who you are, not because some state standard said we had to.
That's huge. That's huge. Yeah. And you made a comment earlier, and I don't remember what the quote was. Do you remember what you said about companies? Do you remember what that was? And I was like, man, that's quotable. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah. So I think one of the most interesting things about this COVID world that we live in right now is that many businesses and government have said often about what they can't do. But in this, we've seen what so many people can do, right? And so, the conventional wisdom is that, I can't do that. That's not really my thing. It's possible. It's possible for a winery to push out hand sanitizer. Like,
exactly
6 months ago, that they would have said that's not possible. We can't do that, right? And so I think that's so important for people to realize that the impossible is possible. That sometimes we got to stretch our imagination some and push the envelope and be the innovators, and not be forced into innovation, but naturally be innovators of purpose in our communities, and using not a crisis as the benchmark of doing something creative and innovative, but using this innate need to be a part of our community, to serve our community. And you can make money at the same time. But I think it's really important about investing in communities and people, being innovative at that same time, crisis or not. We can all better step up to the plate on a regular basis.
Yeah. So that's great. So your organization specifically, and we could probably sit here and talk about all kinds of examples that we're seeing in innovation right now, but like, what are you guys seeing within your organization, changes that you guys are making literally on the fly, that you're probably doing and coming up with, that maybe you weren't doing before, but you're seeing these as good things? Just what are some examples of what you guys are doing right now?
Our biggest thing is our virtual Boys and Girls Club. And so on our social media platforms, on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, every day we're posting out programming that would normally happen within our doors. And now it's just virtually. So if you go onto our social media today, you can go through a meditation and yoga class.
Wow.
There's our fact of the day. Or word of the day for kids to learn new words in this process. Our activities of the day. So whether it's science or technology, engineering, art, or math, we're providing an activity every day for kids to have access to, so that you can do it not just as a kid, Because let's remember, our mission is about kids. It's about young people. These activities, while they're geared towards young people, they are for families to spend time together. And so my hope is that out of all the storm, we've had time to spend more time together as families.
So let me ask you this. What of those things were you doing, if any, before COVID-19 hit? So were you recording or doing those shows already or not?
We weren't. This whole thing came out of this crisis. And so we knew that young people still needed consistency of the people that they knew, which is us. We knew that online instruction was going to be hard for kids to get to. Right. And so what if we could step forward and say, look, I know a lot of this online instruction right now is about education and reading and math and making sure that you meet these critical standards. Right. But what if it also a time for you to like relax and meditate and recenter yourself because of all this trauma that's going on around you? Right. What if you're bored in the house and you want to learn how to make slime, which was one of the things this week on our virtual club? You know, that's a fun activity that you and your parent can do together. Right. And so we weren't doing this before. Our programming was literally in our buildings. Right. And so now we're expanding that out, and hopefully more people will see what it is that happens behind what we call the blue door and want to engage their kids into the club after this.
I expected that answer from you, because that's the answer that I think most are doing, because you really had no need to do it before, right? It's not that it was a bad idea. Maybe all along it's been a great idea, but you didn't really have a need, right? Because you had a program. The program is people come in community and they connect in person, and you're doing those teachings. What percentage of these things do you think, and this may be too soon to know, but how many of these things do you think are going to remain a part of the way you do things, even when you go back in person? Do you think a lot of these will still remain virtual on top of that?
I do very much see us continuing virtually programming. I do very much see us expanding it even more. And so we've been in talks with a group around a phone app to be able to upload these virtual programming along with additional activities for kids to do, to be able to track themselves, their progress on things. So I think this is going to be a huge part of our future. We've temporarily named a virtual branch director right now. And so just like we have branch directors at our facilities. And so I think this is something that's going to continue into the near future.
I mean, these are kind of some of the things that actually excite me, right? Like, so excite me as an entrepreneur, business owner. I hear some of these things that organizations are doing, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, and I'm thinking of our company, things that we've done, that we've begun doing in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, that we have not done. This interview that you and I are doing right now, the technology has existed for some time. Right. But it was not on my agenda at the top of my list of to-dos to interview CEOs and entrepreneurs for Gulf Coast BizCon in order to put out content. But now I've been forced to learn myself some of these tools. And once I've really, I'm diving in, I'm like, man, these are easy to use, easy to, create really high quality content that can be used forever, right? So like you guys are recording what you're doing at the Boys and Girls Club. And now say there's a meditation segment, someone can 24/7 choose to do that with their family at home, wherever they are. Man, and that actually excites me about the future. I mean, it's not fun to be where we are. I'm sure for you guys, everything got shut down. Like for us, things are literally at a standstill with a lot of the things that we're doing, but those innovations are just, it genuinely excites me, because I think that a lot of these things will go on in perpetuity, and it will just become an enhancement of what organizations and businesses are already doing currently,
Absolutely. I think it's going to be, I think it's transformational for us as a people to be able to complement what we would normally do with this virtual world, and post this using those two things to bring us even closer together. You know, there's a lot of talk about how the internet brings us all together, right?
Yep.
But being separated, right, puts a spotlight on the fact that the internet really didn't bring us that much closer together, right? And so
Yeah,
hopefully now using the video pieces of this and being able to connect with people through video, but then having that opportunity once this is over to interact with people from a human standpoint as well, I think really does elevate our abilities as people.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're right. It's internet's, the tools are just tools, right? And so it's, the question is how are we utilizing those tools? And I think that you're right. I think we're figuring out, okay, how can we utilize this to actually build community when we're not connected?
Right.
How can we actually connect when we're not physically connected? You're right. It's really pushing us to a whole new level. So, that's amazing. Well, how many approximately how many children kind of are in the overall South Alabama Boys and Girls Club at one time?
Yeah, so we serve over 5,000 kids a year at our 12 locations throughout town, and that's pretty remarkable. There's still thousands more kids to serve, right? Because just Mobile County alone, there's some almost 55,000 kids who are school aged. And that's just in Mobile. When we add in Baldwin County, we're hitting over 100,000 young people in this region who need the services we provide. We still need support. We still need folks to write a check or go online to our website and to donate, to invest in kids in our community, because it really is important that folks know that investing in our kids is the biggest return on an investment you can have. You can put all your money you want in the stock market, but if you invest in kids in your neighborhood, in your community, that's 10, 20 times fold of a return back right to your community.
Yeah. You say, hey, Jason, I'm investing in you. Remember me when you get older. Remember the little people, man. Remember the little people when you get older.
Absolutely. Jason
or Jasmine or whoever you're talking to, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Well, this is going to be kind of a question. What lessons have you potentially learned, if any, from young people? So you're the CEO, and I find a lot of times that, if you have the ability or you're able to, and you may be really separated from a lot of the children on a, everyday basis or whatever, but like, has there been a lesson or anything that's come about in your time as a CEO that you've said, man, this just taught me something that you can recall?
Yeah, I think there's two things that I've learned in this, because I've been a CEO for a while now, and I've lived in Chicago, DC, Baltimore, St. Louis, Mobile. I mean, I've lived in different places. Mm-hmm. The overarching thing I've learned is that no matter where you are, kids are the same. They have the same wants and desires, whether they're in the inner city of Chicago or in rural North Mobile. The kids just want to be respected. They want someone to listen to them, and they want adults who care about them and their future. That's across the board. Every community I've been in has been exactly the same. The second thing, look, I spend a lot of time, I actually walk streets. Like I'm in neighborhoods, walking the streets and talking to people.
Cool.
And kids, and I run into kids who are leaving school and community centers and stuff. I'm always talking to kids because I really want to understand what it is that they want, need, or desire in their community. And so what I know about kids today is that they can change the world. Look, if they just come together, coalesce around a common idea, and then use all the tools available to them that I didn't have as a kid, or that my grandparents didn't have as a kid, or my great-grandparents didn't have as a kid, they can change the world. They just need the structures around them to be able to do that. They need the people who are going to support their opportunity to go out and to do that. So I've learned that the kids today especially are far more resilient, far more determined than a lot of other generations have been. And look, that's not to say the other generations in their time weren't that, but they have so much today at their disposal to change the world. They just need better structures around them to help them do that.
Gotcha. And a club like this organization can do something like that for these children.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's good.
There's just so much for kids out here to harness and take, and we're just a key in that journey with them. And then the more we can help them, the better our world will be.
Gotcha. That's good. Well, any what additional lesson or any additional thought that you want to kind of leave us with? We won't keep you all day, but any final words of wisdom? Of course, we're at the very end. I want to, find out how folks can obviously connect with your organization. You can give us all that contact information, but just right now, any other thoughts that are kind of on your heart that you might want to share with entrepreneurs and small business owners?
Yeah. So small business owners, entrepreneurs, I think it's really important that you are part of our community. Investing in our community is really important. And so if you don't have a charity that you're connected with, we would love to be that. But more so than that, I'd love to just educate you on philanthropy in general. It's not just about us, but it's about our entire nonprofit community here. I think is really key and important for small business owners to be engaged in our community in that manner.
Interesting. Very cool. Okay. So, then that's a perfect segue into, how can folks connect with you and your organization? How would you direct us to the best way to connect with you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website, which is bgcsouthal.org, has a lot of information on there. Folks can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at BGC. And TikTok. We just launched TikTok to kind of better serve kids in that manner. BGC South AL is our handle on all of those social platforms. If you got a question or anything, you can give us a call, 251-432-1235. Someone will answer our phones during this time as well.
Gotcha. Perfect. So the TikTok thing is very interesting to me. I'll say this on a final note, because I just joined TikTok probably a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I think that platform is probably going to double during this entire quarantine. It's interesting what's happening on that platform, and that's actually one of those things that that young people can have an outlet and create some really, really interesting stuff. I'm gonna find you. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna find you guys after this interview. I'm gonna follow you guys. So
yeah, please do. We just launched our page last week, so cool. We're just now getting into the TikTok world.
I love it. Well, Tim, thank you so much for taking the time. Thanks for talking with me. Excited about what you guys are doing, and we will be in touch. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and enjoy your day.
All right. Take care.
All right.
Guys, all right, so that was Tim Wills, the CEO of Boys and Girls Club of South Alabama. Really enjoyed having him on for that conversation. They're doing some really cool stuff. So as a final note, let me actually say this. I should have brought this up in our conversation with Tim, but so Boys and Girls Club of South Alabama was actually one of the main sponsor for an event that we produced. I say we, our sister company, the Mobile Rundown, produced. It was called Biz Kids. So what it was an event for young entrepreneurs that got to actually create a product, create a service, and sell it live. They did it. It was actually at the Greater Gulf State Fair. And they were Boys and Girls Club of South Alabama was actually our main sponsor for that. And it was an incredible event. So we're looking to expand that this year. Gulf Coast BizCon is actually going to become partnered in that as well and help create resources and education for some of those youth. And so we're looking to expand that this year. And so we'll have some educational platforms that go alongside of just the event. And we're really looking forward to that. And so if you want to connect with us further, hop on our website, www.gulfcoastbizcon.com, and we will see you guys on the next interview. Take care.